like, hey, I want to join the army. How fast can I get shipped out? What the hell are you doing? Give up on it. Like 20 something thousand, now it's like down to like 1,200 or something. I think one of the biggest things that helped me, and I've never shared actually this story with anybody, is I went on a trip to Miami with some friends, and one of those nights met a gentleman that invited me to a house party. So it's a big mansion. I go to the party and noticed it was kind of fun. Something weird about the party, it happened to be a Diddy party.
Whoa, 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 hey, hey.
Many of you guys know me as Big Gains Club, probably came across my social media. Not all the people know my stories, but I was actually born in Italy. I was born in Italy, southern Italy, in a place called Castellammare di Stabia. It's near the Amalfi Coast, a beautiful place to grow up. But growing up in Italy, there's not much of entrepreneurial, things. It's just not much of that. My parents were all about go to school, get a good job, try to be a doctor, a lawyer, one of those cliche jobs. But something happened in 2008. My dad won a green card lottery visa to move to the United States. Then in 2009, he decided he was going to move. I moved alongside with him. I was about 11 at that time. That was in June, actually. I think it was June 8th exactly of 2009. He was moving to Southern California near San Diego, which is actually a pretty good area. He had remarried, and my stepmom had an aunt that lived in San Diego because her husband was in the military. So I moved to San Diego and I started living the American life. I knew no English. I knew literally nothing about America. I was very excited about all that. Now that I had moved to America, I was going to middle school and high school, and I always thought to myself that I never wanted to go to a job. I didn't have any aspirations to look for like a job. So through my high school years, I was spending a lot of time watching like just anything that how to start a business, drop shipping, going do sales door to door. I would even went to a swap meet once with a buddy of mine, and we would like go around the swap meet and ask people if we could be their salesman and sell all these like small like BS items. It's like, so swap meet is like a market. We made like $20 over the course of 12 hours that weekend, which was not a lot of money. But I always kind of had that in me that I wanted to do something. I just didn't know what it was. Then around my junior year of high school in 2000, and I think this was like 2012, 13 at the time, I would watch late at night some YouTube videos, and we'll come across these ads of people that were day trading and investing, and it kind of caught my eyes, but I didn't do much. Then in 2014, when I was graduating my senior year, I really kind of got more into it with Timothy Syke. He was one of the first OG investor traders type of kind of gurus. So I kind of looked into it, but again, I was underage, 17. At the time, nobody was into trading at all. My parents were not for it. So I couldn't really like actually do it, but it stuck in my head. Then I graduated and I had to make a choice. I was like, do I go to college? Do I not? My best friend was a year older than me, and he joined the Army Reserve. So literally in August, like a week before I was supposed to go to college, I said, I'm not going, left. I didn't go to college, and I went to the army recruiter in my town, and I'm like, hey, I want to join the army. How fast can I get shipped out? They're like, well, in 4 weeks, if you we're shipping like some people out, if you want to go, we give you like an extra bonus. It was like I think it's called a $5,000 quick ship bonus or something like that. So I signed up. I'm like, you know what? This, I'm signing up. So I signed up, go home that same day. I didn't tell my parents. I'm like, well, I'm signing up for the military, but I'm still 17. I hadn't turned 18 yet. I need you guys to sign off on it. My dad was actually in the military in Italy when he was younger, so he was all for it. He's like, great benefits, go ahead. So I go join the army, and it's the Army Reserve. So I go do my boot camp, I'll go do my AIT school, and I come back. I get a nice little bonus from the army, not a lot of money, but I had about $10,000 to $15,000 in my bank account. So that was actually how I got my first money to be a day trader. So after my boot camp and my AIT, I come back home. Since I'm in Army Reserve, I'm only going a weekend out of the month to go do my army business, and the rest of the time I decided I'm gonna go back to college. So I joined community college near my house, and I had a little bit of chunk of change in my bank account because I had gone in the army. I had about $14,000, something around there, and now I can actually kind of get into this trading thing. So I'm going to school, but on the side, watching YouTube videos, I'm learning. Now this is around 2015, going to 2016, and I got really lucky. In one of my history classes, there was a guy that sat in the back, and I was one of those kids that always sat in the back, and he was day trading. So this was around when Trump had just was going to be elected, or had just got elected, and he would tell me like, yeah man, we gotta buy options contracts for all the war stocks, the wars are gonna go down, Trump's getting elected. And now I'm like, I'm into this trading shit. I've been watching videos, I've been kind of like paper trading, messing around. I signed up to a broker, I think it was around $2,500. I go all in on the LTM or LMT, one of those, I forgot what the exact ticker was, but they make missiles for the United States Army. And again, I'm in the Army, so I'm like, yeah, this is definitely going down. We lose it all, right? But me having a friend that was also into day trading kept me motivated. We talk after class, before class, we get into it. Then I got another good friend of mine into day trading too. His name was Nathan. And yeah, we just stuck it out, and we just all were like kind of study together. Eventually they stopped trying, but I just really loved it. Like I wasn't even thinking about the money. I wasn't really thinking about like really making that much money because I didn't even have that much money to put in anyway. So I just kept learning, I kept studying, and it took me a long time. It wasn't until like 2018 and going to 2019 where I started making some decent money. And keep in mind, you know, I started in 2014, 2015 when I kind of got into it. It was until then that I started seeing progress and start making money. But part of it was because I was hard-headed. I did not look for a mentor. I did not really buy any courses. I was just trying to study on YouTube, put some money in from my jobs, the army that I was doing, lose it, and go to college. This kind of was the routine that I was in. Took me long years, then eventually developed my strategy. And then 2020 was my big breakout year, I think with a lot of other traders. 2020 had so many opportunities. So if you had any type of experience, which at this point I had a good amount of experience, and I was already making some decent money, that really took me to the next step. That's when I really started making a ton of money from trading, because we had opportunity after opportunity. And the way I like to call it, it's kind of like it was the Super Bowl of stock traders. If you're trading, whatever you were trading, Tesla, penny stocks, NASDAQ, it did not really matter. Even crypto, everything was blowing up. So if you had experience, you were capitalizing on that. And I tell people like the biggest thing with trading or any business is you put in a lot of years of work and you don't see much. Like you feel like there's not really much change. Like, man, it's been 2 years, I'm still losing money. But then it's just something clicks, the opportunity comes to you, and you take that to the next level. And that's kind of what my journey was. There was a lot of years of grinding, a lot of years of not knowing if anything was going to work out, and then it all worked out. So my parents were from the same small town that I grew up. Everybody that I actually know, my parents, my grandparents, are all from the same like rural area of near the Amalfi Coast in Italy. They actually were a little bit of a black sheep in their family. They had started having kids when they were 16 and 17, so in high school, right? Which in Italy, it's like really like they're really against it, right? Because you gotta go to school, get married, and then you have kids. So they had me. I was their third kid when they were 21 already. So they had kids at 16, 17. I think it was 18, 19, and I was the third one at 21. Then they divorced a couple of years after I was born. My mom actually, we were living with her, but then she ended up getting remarried and she just moved to northern Italy. It was me and my two sisters. We moved back in with my dad. He was living with his grandma and two of his other siblings. So we're living with her, and then my grandpa was also there. My mom, she didn't really go to school. She didn't really do much. She worked like just regular jobs at like the grocery store. While my dad, he was in the military, and then he was a police officer in Italy. So then he was trying to go to school to be a lawyer. So he would go to school at night. So he worked during the day, go to school at night. I barely really saw him. So I spent a lot of time with my uncle and grandparents. And at the school, he met another woman, remarried, and right when he was with her, that's when he won his green card lottery, come to America. And that's when I decided, it's like, well, I can stay in Italy, live with my grandparents, but the Italian economy is not the best. There's not opportunities here. And America just sounded awesome. So my dad moved there, and then I moved about a couple months after that. I decided, I'm like, you know what, I'm moving. And I was 11 and 12. My other sister moved with me, my older one. But then my oldest one decided to stay in Italy and eventually moved to America like 10 years later. I think being in the military probably gave me a ton of tools that I use today. At a really young age, I leave the house, I'm on my own. And if you go to boot camp, like nobody's looking out for you. You gotta figure your own shit out. It doesn't matter if you're 17, 21, 25. You got drill sergeants yelling at you, and it kind of teaches you like how to problem solve. So they put you in situations that you kind of have to think. Also, he taught me about being on my own, right? Not relying on family or other people. If I have issues, like, I'm on my own, you gotta figure it out. You don't even have a phone for 3 months. So that's like how much you're kind of in your own world. It teaches you, right, waking up early, working hard, not complaining, all those things that like nowadays especially a lot of people are lacking. So it gives me that level of work ethic. And obviously it was like on a money standpoint, they gave me the bonuses. They were paying me when I didn't really have any other money going into it, which of course helped me. So I think it's a great experience for people, especially if you don't know what you're doing. If you're like, man, I'm 18, going to college, I'm gonna get all of these student loans, but I don't know if I actually like the career that I'm doing. I think the Army, and especially the Army reserve because you're only committing really 6 months, and then just like a weekend every month after that, I feel like can give you like a different perspective on find out what you like and where you want to go with your life. Because it was after the army that I decided, like, I'm going to school, but I'm going to school for business. So even if I wasn't a day trader, I would have probably been part of either starting a business, running businesses, something that wasn't like a regular 9-to-5 job like a lot of people like kind of go to school for, teacher, lawyer, and the sort. Well, to get into day trading, I think it's a lot different than what it was for me. Back when I started, I'm telling you, the community was tiny. There was nobody talking about it. Everybody thought it was a scam. Nobody was doing it. Nowadays, I think people are a little bit easier to get into it. They see a lot more often. It's a lot more common that somebody tries to get into it. It's even a lot easier, right? You have these non-commission brokers, Robinhood, a quick app you can download. So getting into it is actually really, really easy. But then it hurts the actual people that are getting into it, because making it so easy, you think it's an easy skill to master. Well, no, it's a really hard skill to master, and partially is because people just kind of get into it for the wrong reasons. Most people that want to get into day trading, they want to do it for the money, right? They're like, hey, I see this guy, he makes a lot of money, does it from home, travels, let me just get into it. I can do the same in 6 months. But the reality is that the more you chase the money, the harder it gets because you're focused on the money. And as I mentioned earlier, it's like I was never personally focused on the money. I just really enjoyed it. So if you fall in love with that process of trial and error, losing, not giving up, keeping data, mastering your strategy, back testing it, enjoying looking at the charts, then you'll find success. But you have to understand it'll take some time. It's not gonna take you what took me, which was 4 years. You could probably do it much faster, but it's all about having the right mindset. I'm okay risking more because I'm all, within the profits. Well, I think everybody should try day trading. I think it's by far and away the best skill that you can master, because one is a skill that nobody takes away from you. You master it, that's it. It's not, trust me, I've tried drop shipping and all this other shit. It's not you trying to build a store, deal with customers, reviews, right? Some people might like that. Me personally, I hate that. So your store can go down, fads move on from one to the other, right? You have expenses, you have overheads, you have a lot of difficult things to deal with. But with day trading, I just take my trades, it's me versus me, I close my trade, I'm done for the day, I got no stress, I can go to sleep happy, I don't gotta worry about nobody calling me, right? Now, it doesn't mean it's easy, but I think it's a skill that, like, doesn't matter where you are, like what business you're in, if you work a regular 9-to-5, it never hurts to just add something to, add a skill like that. And when you get into it, you don't even need to spend money, right? There's paper trading, which is a demo account. It's an account with fake money. You can mess around, you can learn that way, watch videos. And nowadays it's way easier than when I started, because you have something called proprietary firms, also known as prop firms, where you put a little bit of money, $50, $100 to get an account. And if you pass their challenges, they give you that account to trade, and you can actually withdraw. Now, not everybody, you might get into day trading, you're like, this sucks, I hate it. Then, whatever, you stop doing it. But I think everybody should look into it. And there's no such thing as like, hey, everybody's getting into this business, it's hard to make money now. No, it's not, because it's just the markets. It's stock market, there's billions of dollars traded, it doesn't matter. The more people, the better. There's more volatility, there's more money going around, more opportunities. It's not like those guys that are teaching you like, oh, sell this product on drop shipping or on Amazon. Because it's like, if the product was doing well, then why would you want competitors in that same field? Here, there's no competitors. It's just you, make money, get out. Nobody's gonna bother you. It's just you versus yourself, you versus the markets. Yeah, of course. I met my wife in 2018, towards the end of it. So I was able to get her number and try to get a date with her for months. It was actually 3 different dates we were supposed to go on, and then she would flag on me last minute. But I didn't give up, just like with trading. I stuck to it, kept, trying to figure it out. Then eventually I was able to get 1 day with her, and that's all it took. Things went great from the first day. And yeah, then that was the end of 2018. Then end of 2019, we moved things pretty quickly. That's when she got pregnant with my son, and then he was born in 2020. I think when you have a kid, like, a lot of people are scared of it, and I get that, but it does give you an extra motivation, because I think as humans in general, we'll work harder for others than we will work hard for ourselves. Because now, yes, I have my wife, I have my family, but I now have a son too, which is like, okay, you really want to make your kid proud. So that gave me just extra motivation to keep working hard. And the benefits of being a day trader was that I'm at home all the time. So when I drop him off at school, pick him up from school. I'm there all the time, right? My dad, he had to work hard, right? And I respect that a lot. He wasn't really as often as he could have been around me, you know, my sisters. He had to work, he had to go to school, he was divorced, but I get to be with my son all the time, and I think that helps him grow up, right? Get that confidence. His dad's always there, doesn't really have to worry about anything. Now the money secondary is nice, but I think the fact that I can just be there for him regardless of the money is by far like the best thing possible. The biggest struggle for me and for many others is the fact that nobody supports you, right? You talk to your parents, you talk to your family, you talk to your friends. Everybody's like, what the hell are you doing? Give up on it. And the fact that you have to push yourself with no external motivation to keep going, it's not easy. There's nobody you can really talk to about it, especially back when I started. And I think a lot of people relate with just business in general. You try to start a business, try to start something different. It's not the usual 9 to 5 that everybody does, go to college, and you find just like nobody supports you for that. But then when you actually make it, everybody claps for you and like, yeah, we knew you could do it. When you remember damn well, that wasn't the case. Like, I remember everything. I remember everything everybody said. Now, I don't hold that against them anymore because I understand that, you know, from their point of view, they just wanted the best out of me, and, you know, they just didn't see the vision. So that was the hardest part, seeing the vision and seeing it by yourself. So growing up, we had a pretty like middle to lower middle class family. Again, my dad was a police officer, my mom just worked a random job. Now we never like had issues, we never didn't have food or anything like that. We always had like a roof over our head, luckily, and we had a supportive like grandparents. A lot of times I would usually eat at my grandparents' house because they'd drop us off for the day and they'd be busy doing, you know, going to work and things like that. So we never like had anything crazy, like Christmas wasn't getting a million gifts. But also, you know, I'm thankful that there's people that were in a lot tougher situations that I was in. Didn't have running water, things like that. But you know, it was just a very humble life. Am I happy? I think I'm very happy for where I'm at. Now, I've always been a happy person. Even when I had no money, I was always happy. Now, do I have a bad day? Am I unhappy? Am I feeling down a certain day? Yes. Just because you have money, it does not make any difference. I feel the same amount of happiness versus sad days than when I had no money. Now, would I be extremely unhappy if I had literally no money and no roof over my head and like in a really terrible situation? Yes, I'm sure that's the case. So having that baseline of enough money that's like, hey, I'm not gonna go hungry this week. I'm not gonna be fucking homeless. I can take a shower. I can hit up the gym. I have a car to get me around. Like, that's that baseline of happiness. And anything above it makes you slightly happier, but doesn't really do a huge difference. I compare this a lot to going to the gym. You don't go to the gym at all, but you go one day out of the week, you'll see really big difference. Now you go 2 days, you'll still see a big difference, but not as big of a difference from 0 to 1. Then you go 3 times a week now to the gym. You'll see a nice difference from going twice to 3 times, but much less than going just twice. Then you go 4 or 5 times, you start seeing much less difference than that first jump from 0 to 1, 0 to 2. Then you go 6 to 7 times, you'll see very small difference of somebody that goes 7 times versus 5 times. And I would say happiness is like that. You get to a certain point of money that like it makes a slight difference, but you know, overall it's not a huge difference. Well, I'm one of those people that I kind of love my work. Like, I know it's cliche, it's like find something that you love. It's like I never feel like I'm really working. Now that when I'm on the charts trading, it's usually gonna be 3 to 5 hours max a day. Sometimes even less, right? Like, that's depending on my day. Sometimes just an hour. Sometimes I take the day off. But like everything else, like making videos to help others, to talk to other people, to help them get better, that to me doesn't feel like I'm ever working. Now, some people might see it as such, but for me, I just enjoy it so much. So I feel like if I'm not working, actually, if I'm not doing something productive, I get stressed out. I get anxiety. I'm like, I feel like I should be doing something productive. I hate just sitting around doing nothing, especially if it's like I'm just by myself. Like, if I'm on a trip with a family, it's a little bit of a different story, but like the feeling of like I should be doing something productive, I kind of always have that feeling. So like I quite enjoy it. Some people might think I work too much and kind of like a workaholic, but to me, it's like I'm helping others. I'm enjoying it. I'm doing a passion that I've had for the last 11 years going on now. So to me, it never feels like work. If I'm on a trip, usually I'm still trading. I'm still looking at the markets. So, you know, I just see it as part of just my lifestyle at this point. It's all together. Hope you guys enjoyed this video and understand that I'm really doing this for you. I love making these videos to help others due to all the messages I get and all the people that, my YouTube is not even that big, but I'm still able to help and give you some inspiration to show you that there's day traders that make a living off day trading alone. Been making a living off of day trading since before I even posted a video on social media, before on Instagram. For real OG followers, remember my $1 million house in California that I was living in before I even had 1 follower. You know, I hope you guys really take these videos, take it serious, believe in yourself, yourself and know that it doesn't matter where you're in the world, whether you are Asia, Europe, America, if you have a phone, you have access to internet, it is something you can pursue. Don't rush it, believe in yourself, make sure it's for you before you're risking your hard-earned money in the markets.